Welcome back to the Dean Rogers Show. Today we got another episode of Deals with Dean. And on this one, it's just too good. We got another deal that we closed in 24 hours using a private lender. You're not going to want to miss it. Let's go. All right, welcome back. Let's get right into it and make sure you like and subscribe, help support this channel. All right, so on this one, we had a deal that came from Craigslist. Yes, that's right. We got this lead from Craigslist. Seller called us. They said they had a property. They wanted to sell it cash, and they wanted to sell quickly. Apparently, they needed the cash, and they needed it in a hurry. So my team got this deal under contract quickly. We got on the phones and realized pretty soon that this was a juicy deal. This deal we wanted to close as soon as humanly possible. Before the seller changed their mind, they were, desperate to close it. They contacted someone else and just made the deal messy. So we were in a fast hurry to get this deal closed. Now the purchase price on this was for $150,000. And we could have closed using our own cash, but rather than using our own cash, I wanted to see if we could pull it off and get it closed using a private lender in record time. We had recently closed one in 24 hours using our own cash, but could we actually close a deal in 24 hours using a private lender? I don't know. We wanted to test it out because when you use a private lender, you actually have to get documents notarized, and that can slow things down because you've got paperwork to fill out. You've actually got to get that back to the escrow company. So I wasn't sure if we were going to be able to pull it off and get it done, but I was sure going to try. So whenever we got a deal like this, we always make sure to call escrow, tell them what our goal is, which in this case was to close in 24 hours, and that we want all hands on deck. Now, if you do this every single time with escrow and you tell them to run fast and do everything quick, hurry, it's a fire drill, well, they're going to lose faith, right? It's kind of like the boy who cried wolf. But if you actually have deals in certain circumstances that you need to close fast and you actually perform on your end, it's a thrill for everybody. Everybody enjoys the excitement of going fast and getting stuff done and crushing it and doing a good job. So on this one, I called up escrow. I want to say in the evening, the night we got it under contract, and said, hey, this is a juicy deal. We want to get it done fast. Let's do everything that we can. So as soon as the next morning rolled around, escrow ordered the preliminary title report, which can take days to get back sometimes. But because of the fact we gave them the urgency, they worked on it quickly and got it back that same morning. Now, to our excitement and to help support the deal, it actually came back with a clear title, meaning there was no mortgages, there was no liens, and that pretty much means all systems go. You can close as fast as you want as long as everybody's ready to sign and get everything done. What made things a little interesting and made the story even better was this property was in a trust, okay? And the seller was the daughter of the original owners who put this property in the trust. Now, good thing they did that, because if they didn't, after they had passed away, which they did, then we would have had to go through a long probate process. Well, in this circumstance, they had it in the trust, thankfully, and also thankfully, this person who we were talking with was the beneficiary of the trust. So that all checked out. That was good. We just needed the documents to prove it. Escrow still needs those trust documents to review them and approve them and make sure everything's on the up and up. Well, to make it a funny story, the seller, she had the documents, but they were in the trunk of her car, which just got repossessioned that morning. You can't make that up. Literally, the documents we need to be able to close were in the trunk of the car that just got repossessioned. Well, no wonder the seller was in a hurry to close. They needed some money. Thankfully, the seller called the repo company and said, hey, I need something out of the trunk of my car. Can I come by and get it? And in just that quick amount of time, that same morning, the seller was able to go to the company, go to the yard, right, and get those documents from the trunk of the car and drive to escrow and give it to him. While she was there, escrow prepared all the closing documents and actually had the seller sign while she was there to basically check that box. In the meantime, I was, I'm living virtually. I'm in San Diego. I was working to get my side of the deal done, and that was to sign and notarize the deed of trust and promissory note for the private lender, right? Now, I left that part out. I had actually called the private lender the night before and said, hey, Mr. Private Lender, I got a smoking hot deal. We want to close this as fast as humanly possible. Are you ready to go? Now, he fortunately picked up the phone. He said he was game. He was ready to go. He'd be available. Just let him know. So the next morning, I got my documents signed and notarized with my notary, which I have on call, and messaged also and said, hey, I need you first thing in the morning. Got some documents to sign. So I got that part taken care of. Those documents were overnight to escrow. The seller had signed, and my private lender had wired his funds all in that same day. I mean, that's like record time. It's extremely difficult to pull that all off. You need so much to come together. The preliminary title report has to come in. It happened to be clean, which means we didn't have to wait around for any payoffs or liens to be cleared. I was able, in this case, with a private lender, get them on the phone, get them to go to the bank. I was able to get escrow to provide me the closing statement or all the closing package, including the deed of trust and promissory note, which needed to be notarized. I was able to get my notary into to the house, sign all those, and overnight them. I mean, a lot had to come together, but the perfect execution took place. We were able to get that deal closed the very next morning, and we got the deal done in 24 hours. Now, that was just the first half of the story. Now we own the property, and the seller is out. The house was already vacant, and now we wanted to sell it. Now, the reason we closed on it rather than just wholesaling it is we wanted to close really fast. We didn't want to leave the door open for anything, any issues to potentially pop up. And whenever it's a juicy deal that has a big spread, almost all the time we will close on it ourselves. And, all things considered, that's typically a deal someone would, or something someone would do on a deal like this, and why it turns into a wholetail. Now, a wholetail deal, you can either put it on the market, on the MLS, list it with a realtor, and open it up to pretty much anybody and everybody. But what I'll like to do typically is actually send it to my buyers list and not put it on the MLS. It's still, a secret group. There's only a handful of people that get access to see it. But I have the confidence and am comfortable sending it out, even though it's a juicy deal, because of the fact I own it. So we own this property, close in 24 hours. That was, pretty incredible we got that done. Well, the second half of the story was us getting it sold. Now, this property, we decided, let's go ahead and board it up. We wanted to board it up because the front door didn't unlock in the first place. The windows were old windows. You could probably easily break in. And the back door, you might as well left it wide open, because the back door was one of those glass, pretty much the whole door was glass except for the frame. So you could break it if you wanted to, but to make it easier for people to get in, the glass was already gone. The seller had some sort of like tape or plastic that was there. So really anybody could walk in and out. So we wanted to board it up, and that's what we did. Well, I don't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing, because it potentially attracted more attention. And I'll throw up some pictures here. If you're watching it on YouTube, you can see someone was really adamant to get in. In fact, they ended up taking a saw. I don't know how this person got access to a saw, but that one day they were so determined to get into this property because we kept reboarding it up. They actually took a saw to the board that we had up there and chopped it in half to get inside this house. Now, they probably just wanted a place to rest their head, but you know, it comes with the territory sometimes on some of these vacant properties. So we were dealing with that. In the same time, we had sent it out to our buyers list. We had really good interest on the property, and one buyer in particular was someone I had worked with before, and it was actually a realtor. So this person is a realtor on my buyers list, and they will send it out to a couple of their buyers and mark it up. They'll basically add their fee on top of my asking price. In this case, this realtor had marked it up $15,000. And hey, I have no problems with that. If he's got a buyer who's, I guess you could almost call it like a retail buyer, willing to pay way higher than what my other buyers are willing to pay, props to them, you know? And so this buyer, or this realtor, happened to have a buyer who was willing to pay $15,000 more than my asking price, and the rest of my buyers were at my asking price. So I said, hey, this is a great opportunity to strengthen my relationship with this realtor, put some good money in his pocket, and get him wanting to bring more buyers and close more deals together. So we did that deal. I believe that buyer was paying cash. We went through the escrow process, and everything was gravy. Everything got done. We got the deal closed from start to finish. From when we owned it to when we closed it was actually about a month. You know, we had taken some time to board it up. Then we were dealing with getting the people out, and ultimately we ended up getting the deal closed. Now this deal turned into an $84,746.39 profit deal. A juicy deal. You can see why we were in a hurry to close this deal, get it done, and make sure no issues popped up. So this is another great example of a wholetail deal, and another great example of, hey, when it's showtime and there's a great deal, you got to perform. You know, we're here looking for good deals. There's plenty of deals where we're only making, you know, $5,000 or a couple $1,000. And after your overhead and you're paying your team, you know, you're really not making any money. That can happen. That's why you're always striving to do some bigger deals, just like this one here. So we had all hands on deck. We got the deal done on the front end. We handled it on the back end and got the deal done. Really great deal, something to be proud of, and another one in the books. So this was such a fun deal because so much had to come together in order for it to happen when we bought it, and then we still had some work to do to get it sold, and we were able to make that happen. So I was really proud of the team, and obviously a great win and something to be proud of. So hope you enjoyed this story. If you liked it, make sure to like and subscribe, and until next time, peace.